October 1st, 2025. A date that many in Queensland will never forget. What began as an ordinary spring afternoon quickly turned into one of the most violent hailstorms Australia has ever seen. Across southeast Queensland, from Brisbane's outer suburbs to the Sunshine Coast, the sky turned black, the wind picked up, and then, the hail began to fall. Not the kind of hail you brush off your car. These were giant chunks of ice, the size of baseballs, smashing everything in their path. Meteorologists called it a meteorological monster. A supercell thunderstorm so powerful that radar images showed dense cores of ice and extreme updrafts, the perfect conditions for giant hail formation. Within minutes, the calm blue skies transformed into chaos. Residents watched in disbelief as massive white hailstones pelted rooftops, shattering skylights, ripping through solar panels, and leaving entire neighborhoods looking like a war zone. Early reports suggested that thousands of homes were damaged. Roof tiles smashed, windows shattered, and rain pouring through ceilings, flooding bedrooms, kitchens, and living rooms. Inside, televisions, computers, and appliances were soaked, destroyed in seconds. Outside, the streets were littered with debris. Trees stripped bare. Cars dented, glass scattered everywhere. For some, their vehicles looked as if they had been through a firing range, hundreds of holes punched through every panel. Car dealerships across the region reported entire fleets written off, hundreds of vehicles completely unsalvageable. Insurance companies, once again, were bracing for another multi-million-dollar disaster. But what exactly made this storm so intense? Meteorologists explained that an unusually warm, humid air mass collided with a cold front sweeping across eastern Australia. When those two systems met, the atmosphere became a powder keg. Supercells formed rapidly, some spinning with violent updrafts exceeding 150 kilometers per hour. Inside those clouds, hailstones began to grow, suspended by powerful winds, collecting layer after layer of ice until they reached up to 9 centimeters in diameter. That's the size of a baseball. Each one weighing over 200 grams, enough to shatter glass, dent steel, or injure anyone caught outdoors. Eyewitnesses described scenes of utter chaos. One Brisbane resident said, "It sounded like someone was throwing rocks through our windows. I grabbed my kids and ran to the bathroom. Within minutes, the whole roof was leaking." Another local from Ipswich recalled, "The hail just didn't stop. 10-15 minutes of constant pounding. When it was over, our backyard looked like it had snowed." Social media was flooded with videos, rooftops collapsing, cars underwater, massive hailstones melting in people's hands. Clips went viral worldwide, showing the terrifying power of nature in action. But the damage didn't end there. The storm also caused massive power outages, leaving tens of thousands without electricity overnight. Traffic lights went dark, communication towers were hit, and emergency crews struggled to reach the hardest hit areas due to blocked roads.
Far out!
Airports delayed dozens of flights, and public transport systems came to a halt. In rural communities, crops were flattened, farmers estimating losses in the tens of millions of dollars. The local agricultural industry, already recovering from droughts and wildfires, suffered yet another crushing blow. As dawn broke the next morning, the full scale of destruction became visible. Drone footage revealed entire neighborhoods scarred, roofs patched with blue cars lined up for insurance inspections, and streets still covered in ice. Cleanup crews worked around the clock, clearing debris and helping families salvage what little they could. Volunteers brought food, blankets, and temporary shelter to those displaced by the storm. Local authorities declared a state of emergency, urging residents to remain indoors and to avoid driving unless absolutely necessary. Meanwhile, scientists began analyzing the storm, trying to understand how such extreme weather could develop so quickly. They noted a troubling trend. Over the past decade, Australia has seen a steady increase in severe hail events. Rising temperatures, combined with shifting wind patterns, appear to be fueling more powerful supercells across the East Coast. Some researchers warn that this could become the new normal, that hailstorms of this magnitude may no longer be rare. And for the people of Queensland, that's a terrifying thought. But amid the devastation, stories of courage and solidarity emerged. Neighbors helped each other patch roofs and move debris. Emergency volunteers, exhausted but determined, went door to door, ensuring everyone was safe. One local fire chief described it best. Queenslanders are resilient. We've faced cyclones, floods, fires, and now, hail the size of baseballs. We always get back up. Insurance claims are expected to exceed hundreds of millions of dollars, making this one of the costliest hailstorms in Australian history. Government disaster relief funds have already been activated, with assistance flowing to affected regions. Still, for thousands of families, recovery will take months, maybe even years. As climate experts continue to warn about more erratic and extreme weather patterns, one thing is clear. Nature's power is growing harder to predict, and impossible to ignore. October 1st, 2025, will be remembered as the day Queensland was reminded of just how fragile life can be when nature unleashes its fury. If you found this story powerful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more real stories from around the world. Stay safe, stay aware, and never underestimate the storm.